You are watching One Book, One Review with Wiebke.
Hey everyone, sometimes when watching booktube I feel rather old, and especially when we talk about the effect and the romances that are in novels and how that affects our real life, and especially when we talked about the manipulative romances, and it always goes back down to Twilight and how this is a bad example of a romance and how things shouldn't work. Which, yeah, I don't disagree, but fiction is not reality. There is something that we need to consider when reading a romance novel, especially something like Twilight. This is a clear work of fiction, and when you read it, it's perfectly normal that you think the romance in there is great. All the things that Edward does are just so awesome, because it's written in that way. But that doesn't make it a good thing for reality. This is fiction. In fiction, when Edward goes and jumps into her room and stares at her and protects her and observes her all the time, this sounds romantic because it's written in a romantic way. In reality, I don't want to have someone being that clingy and overbearing. Seriously, he's suffocating people. But in romance and fiction, this is what sounds good. And that's how it's working. It's fiction, it's not reality. We constantly consume romance fiction, which sounds awesome because in the setting of the fictional world, it works. But in reality, it's just not. Just think of all the movies or books that you have seen where there's someone or some people are preparing a wedding, and then there's a best friend or some complete random stranger coming along and falling in love with either the bride or the groom. And as an audience, as a reader, you hope for the wedding not to take place, for the new couple to get together. And that is normal because in fiction you get this presented like this. You're clearly voting for the guy who comes in and tries to break up this couple. But in reality, this whole thing would look completely different. No one would side with the guy coming in and trying to break a wedding. And also, what does it say about the couple that are planning a wedding and then just some random guy comes along and, ooh, I'm distracted, ooh, I don't want to marry you anymore. What the hell? That's not good. But it works in fiction. And that's just the thing. There are many things in fiction that sound romantic and good, but they are not. I could also mention Anna and the French Kiss. As far as I remember the story, they were both in relationships and they both lied to each other a lot about what they wanted, where they were, and what they could even do. And this whole relationship is built on dishonesty. Who would want that in real life? Seriously. And that is something where I feel old. Because I have made experiences, I've thought about these things. I don't expect my fiction to become reality. I don't confuse it with reality, especially when I'm reading YA romance or any other kind of romance. Let me give you an example, a real life example. There's this movie with Christian Slater where he has this flower shop, I don't really remember the title. And as far as I remember, he fell in love with this woman and he kept sending her flowers, and how she always finds flowers not knowing from whom they are. And I thought this was the most romantic thing in the world. I was young and I was stupid because I thought getting flowers from a stranger not knowing who they are sounds nice. But one day I walked through Boston, I was in a bookshop, some random stranger gave me flowers, said, yeah, I was told to give them to you, there was a phone number on. At first I thought, how cute. But then I realized, what kind of creepy guy gives you flowers? They don't know you, they know nothing about you. Maybe that I was wearing a short skirt, but that was all. And calling the guy, which I did, because I'm curious, that's what you do, turned out to be really, really creepy. And so of course I don't know what he looks like because we never met. But that really put a damper on the reality and fiction thing. In fiction, we would have started the best romantic affair ever. In reality, I gave the flowers to someone else. So that is something I'm going to give to you now as the old person here on booktube. When you look at fiction, look at it at fiction. It's not something you want to have in real life, but it works in fiction. And that's how the world works. In fiction, things work that are not working in reality. I'm just gonna end here and let you start a discussion in comments. Tell me what you think, if you agree, if you disagree, if you've never noticed or thought of things like that. Just tell me.